the first station, they pass through 7 stages. The first 6 of them are planets: Moon, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, and then 7th stage is paradise and beyond the spheres, and he goes beyond paradise and there he meets God. In the very first chapter, which is Moon, if you read this line about Moon, Rumi shows 7 visions to Iqbal: the cave of Vishwamitra, the music of Sarosh and its poetry, and the tablets of Buddha, Zarathustra, Jesus and Muhammad Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam. 7 visions. Now you will see that each one of them actually previews one of the later chapters. Look at the first column. Vishwamitra, the Hindu sage, offers 9 sayings from Vedanta. Iqbal takes his blessings from a Hindu sage on this journey, and this was 2 years after he gave the concept of Pakistan, 1932. His journey starts with the blessings of a Hindu sage. He is explaining everything, so just as this planet itself explains everything. On the second vision is, after meeting this Hindu sage, he listens to the music of Sarosh, which is the classical muse in Persian mythology. In the second planet, which is Mercury, he will listen to Quran being recited, and that melody of Quran will open a new world to him. In the third is the poetry of Sarosh. That ghazal which Sarosh is singing actually has 7 couplets, and each one of them again relates to each chapter. For instance, I told you that in the second chapter, Iqbal will listen to Quran being recited melodiously, and that will open a new world to him. The second couplet in that ghazal of Sarosh is Chun surmai razi az dida faroshustam taqdeer umam binam pinha ba kitab andar, कि जब मैंने तफसीर का सुरमा अपनी आंखों से उतार दिया तो फिर मुझे किताब में कौमों की तकदीर नजर आई. You can see how it relates, and likewise. Fourth is the tablet of Buddha, and some other time I shall explain how this is the central thing to all the message of Iqbal and to his concept of Pakistan in 100 ways: linguistic, artistic, philosophic, everything. Buddha. Okay. The master asks a dancer to be in this world and not to be. There is a dancer before Buddha, and Buddha is telling that dancer that to be in this world and yet not to be, that is something. In the fourth planet, which is Mars, Rumi shows Iqbal a different kind of race whose bodies are contained in their hearts, and therefore it's a very different society where spirit and matter are not bifurcated, and where there is no slave, no master, nobody is oppressed, and when someone is about to die, they announce it 2 days before, and death occurs merely by the absorption of the body into the soul. Now you can see how this corresponds to the essence of Buddha's message, even otherwise and especially as presented by Iqbal here. Likewise, look at all these things and you will see that they correspond to one of the chapters. Now, why is this important? It is important because what we see here is how the message of each world religion actually is expanding into an aspect of Iqbal's own philosophy and being integrated with Islam. These 7 chapters, except for the first, they would be mostly alluding to Islam. But you will see that there is a bridge between each of that message and this. And therefore, it would be in the interest of Islam itself to draw something from these civilizations in order to further develop and reinforce that certain aspect of its own message. And this is how Iqbal integrates these things. Another implication for art, these 7 visions here in the first column on moon are basically multiple intelligences. Heard about that concept by Howard Gardner, that there are different kinds of intelligences, and each intelligence then is translated into a certain art form. This is how you will locate various art forms in the work of Iqbal, not just by what does he say about music or dance or thing, but by actually seeing these patterns. Vishwamitra is philosophizing. This is rational intuitive, or intuitive, logical mathematical, Gardner calls it. I call it rational intuitive on the basis of Javed-Nama. First intelligence, which gives you literary criticism and poetry, philosophy and that kind of thing. Music of Sarosh, musical intelligence. So this is all the musical art forms. Poetry of Sarosh, verbal linguistic intelligence, and this is about verbal arts. The tablet of Buddha, psychomotor kinesthetic intelligence, dance, martial art, all those kind of arts forms where the medium is our body. So and how it will connect to other various things. Read chapter 4, translate it into dance, and there you have 10 volumes about Iqbal's philosophy of dance, although he has never said much about dancing. Be your own philosopher, and you can derive these things which will apply to actually to dancing, and they will make sense. Tablet of Zarathustra, the Persian prophet, Ahriman, the devil, is asking Zarathustra that if you have got a great insight into the ultimate reality, then don't go to the masses. They are not worth it. Elevate yourself. And Zarathustra says, no, I must go to the masses. Now, these are performing arts, communicative arts, all those things. This is interpersonal intelligence, and various art forms derived from there. Tablet of Jesus, Leo Tolstoy sees in his nightmare that the Western civilization has crucified the soul of Jesus. This is intrapersonal dream world, unconscious mind, and it leads to psychology and related disciplines. Tablet of Prophet Muhammad, the soul of Abu Jahl pleads before the idols of Kaaba, urging them to stay in his heart even if they must leave the holy precinct. Spatial intelligence, this is where visual arts come. Kaaba is a space. It's going to be renovated, a big change occurring, and then there is a dialogue about this. So these 7 intelligences, 7 art forms, they all appear in the first chapter, which is Moon, which gives you a preview, and each of these will be then elaborated in 1 chapter each. But this is the mystery which I found about Iqbal. He wrote 9 books of poetry. Practically wherever he has written a poem which has 7 couplets, they are according to this pattern, consistently over 23 years. Masjid-e-Qurtuba, it has 8 stanzas of 8 couplets each. The 8th couplet is rhymed differently. If you start reading the first couplet, it will have these first 7 couplets, first stanza, first 7 couplets will be these 7 chapters of Javed-Nama in the reverse order. पहला शेर है सिलसिलाए रोज़ो शब नक्श गरे हादिसात, सिलसिलाए रोज़ो शब असले हयातो ममात. You will find exact this imagery in the 7th chapter of Javed-Nama. सिलसिलाए रोज़ो शब तारे हरीरे दो रंग, जिससे बनाती है ज़ात अपनी कबाए सिफात. You will find this imagery in the 6th chapter. And so 8th couplet of the first stanza will be like 0, a pause. Next stanza will have them in simple order, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Pause, 8th couplet. Then 7 to 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. All poems of Iqbal, which have 7 items, whether it's a set of 7 poems. बच्चों के लिए जो नज़में हैं, लप्पे आती है दुआ वगैरह, they are 7 in बांगे दरा. If you read them in the sequence which is given to them in बांगे दरा, unmistakably they are 7 parables about these 7 stages. Okay, now I have read everything which Iqbal ever wrote, including some which no one else has seen. I have access to his rough notebooks. Every paper I have got,